Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. I'm Mike Catalana. Thanks for being with us. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We've got some great content for you, and we appreciate all the support we have gotten. Let's look back at what happened on Sunday in Orchard Park as the Bills got a win against the Miami Dolphins. And I'm calling it the good, the bad, and the ugly, paying homage to Clint Eastwood and the famous movie. And it's a bit I've been doing on Channel 13 for years. But I'm talking about the different aspects of this game, and I try not to overreact. Either way, the league is a week to week league. My guys hear me say it all the time. It's the truth. So sometimes you got to take things for what they are that week, and then you look at other things that can be long term issues. So let's just start with the good. It's a win. It's a win against a division opponent. It gets the Bills to 5-2. You know, they had come off that loss to the Titans, and then you have a week off, and then you come back home. It wasn't great, but it was a win. So you take that. It's a hindsight win. It's what I talk about all the time. It's a win where you look back and go, yeah, we won that division game. They're undefeated in the division. And it's a conference win because they already have two losses in the conference. Because look at a team like New England right now that is 4-4 and playing pretty well, but they've got a loss the beginning of the year to this Dolphins team. Hindsight, that's a terrible loss for them. Right? New England has gotten a little better. Defense is better. Mac Jones is playing better, but they lost that first game when they had a chance to win it. So for the Bills, if you look at it from that perspective, it's a win. The other good parts is the way they played in the second half of that game, especially on offense. They started to figure a lot out in that second half. There were many reasons for it. I think Brian Daboll made some really good adjustments after the entire team and his play calling struggled in the first half to find the right mix. Josh Allen was better in the second half. The other thing he did was get the ball into Cole Beasley's hands. And, Beasley's been an interesting guy this year. I'm happy that he's off of social media. I don't think that was good for him or the team. But on the football field, they weren't looking for Beasley that much until the game in Nashville, and he came through for them. And then when they needed him again, they came through for him. They needed Beasley in this game. And, the whole issue, forget the vaccine part, because I would always tell everybody, as a football player, this guy is a team guy first. He never complains. He'll make every catch. He'll take the hits. He'll stay out on the field. And after the win, Beasley was asked about, going to Josh at times, knowing you're open, trying to get the ball. Here's what he had to say.
You have a lot of good guys on the team, so I don't know. There's never a time where I really just kind of go at anybody and push for the ball. So, I know it'll work itself out. All I can do is do my job and try to win for him. And I don't know. Josh found a way to get me the ball, and then Dave's started calling a lot of stuff to where I had those opportunities. And you just got to win for them, and that's all I can do. But, I'm never going to go to them and just tell them to throw me the ball when you got guys like Steph and Emmanuel, and we didn't have Knox tonight, but normally we have Knox too, and then Gabriel and Isaiah. We just have so many weapons, man. So you just let it kind of play out, and Dave's is a great coordinator, so I just let him do his thing.
Let him do his thing. And it worked. And he talks about Daboll as the coordinator. And I thought Miami had a pretty good game plan for the Bills. That's one thing you got to keep in mind with the two division games sometimes. The Bills blew them out 35-0. Tua got knocked out of the game. It just went from there. Miami comes in, but they lost 6 in a row. They know what did not work against the Bills. And I think they came with a much more aggressive game plan. It's interesting how Josh Allen handles that. When he was young, it caused him issues, like it does for a lot of quarterbacks. And then last year, when teams came at him with pressure, he destroyed them. They haven't done it as much. Once you show you can beat that pressure, you don't see it as much. Well, Miami came with the pressure, caused problems for that Bills offensive line, which I would take towards the bad side from Sunday. The offensive line had trouble. They had trouble blocking in the run game, which they continue to. They had trouble at times taking on all that pressure. The Bills were still trying to make plays, maybe with a little less protection, going maybe more 4 wide early, and the Dolphins took advantage and got on Allen early. He did not look comfortable in the pocket. Bills tried to run their way out of it. It didn't work. You guys saw what was happening. They were really fortunate to even be 3-3 at halftime, in addition to Allen coming up with a couple of runs. I mean, Tyler Bass, the guy steps up and nails a 57-yarder. And then the Dolphins, being the Dolphins, they kicked the ball away right before half. So the game is still tied. But in terms of what the Bills' offense was doing, they were struggling to find a groove, right? What they could do. Well, what do good teams do? They go in at halftime, they make adjustments. And that's what the Bills did. That's what Daboll did. And they came out, I think, attacking more in that way when the Dolphins would go more on you would say like cover zero, where they're going more with pressure and not having the coverage in the back, more on a man-to-man coverage, and seeing if Josh could beat it with the pressure coming at him. And you saw him do that. And that's what happened in the second half. And Allen was really good at it. And the play calling was what they responded to. He got the ball out quickly, found Beasley, found him quickly, also found him later in some plays like the 3rd and 11, huge first down, moving the ball down the field. Because when the Dolphins got it within 6 points, and then the Bills are punting the ball back to him, you're like, okay, this is on here. And by the way, James Lofton, the same as Troy Aikman on a game the other night. Fellas, it's analytics, it's smart football. When they're down 14, especially in the fourth quarter, and you score a touchdown, the smart coaches go for 2. It cuts the lead to 6. You could then steal a game with a touchdown and the extra point. If you don't get it, you then have a chance to still tie it with the 2-point conversion. Miami did it. It worked. So it's smart. Every analyst, especially guys my age, like Aikman and James, who might be a little older than me, they're questioning that because they don't see it that way. It was the smart move. Anyhow, that's what happened. So Josh Allen ended up making those plays in the second half. While we're talking about Josh, I mean, come on, look at this. This is the outfit coming into a game, Halloween, as Phil Mickelson. The shades, Phil goes hat, visor at times, but that was Josh yesterday. And of course, he wore it post game. And there was a story behind that of the idea that Mickelson had spoken to the team, I think he said during the preseason, and he got a sense a little bit of what Phil Mickelson went through to win the PGA championship. And you guys saw Allen during the game. I mean, he got fired up. And someone on the radio, Brother Weeze here in Rochester, referenced it as a little Tom Brady-ish. It did look a little Tom Brady-like, where we've seen Brady sort of flip out, not necessarily at an individual, but just in general. He was mad. So I would say that would be being a little angry. And it got him going. But after the game, Josh talked about what he learned in that conversation with the PGA champion.
I know I don't play well when I'm frustrated, and again, hearing that from, a Hall of Fame golfer, one of the best of all time, to say that type of thing, that resonated well with me, because that's exactly kind of how I feel too. So, it helped me today, and hopefully that'll help me in the future too.
Yeah, and it also gave him kind of a cool Halloween costume to wear. Sort of subtle, right? He's not going to go all in, but the shades and the hat. And my guess is if they didn't win the game, he would have not come into the post game wearing a Halloween costume. But hey, Josh is great about that stuff. So good for him. And learning how to handle those emotions. And that was big for them because that's a frustrating game. And this is why sometimes I do say week to week, right? The Titans beat the Chiefs, beat the Bills, found a way to beat the Colts, losing Derrick Henry. As I'm recording this, it looks like Henry may be done, at least for the regular season, maybe the year, we'll see. That's a team that lost to the Jets. The Bengals playing well, blow out Baltimore. They lose to the Jets. Maybe the Jets aren't that bad. Let's start looking at it that way. They have them in a couple of weeks. But at the same time, it's the idea that it is a week-to-week league, and you have to find ways to win and move on. The Detroit Lions, the Eagles, who I know are not a good team, just beat them up 44-6. The week before, Lions went toe-to-toe with the Rams. Now, if you're the Rams, you're not going to overreact to that week. You got to win. Again, hindsight, you move on, take the win in the conference, move on. Hey, Detroit stayed in that game. It is the NFL. Teams can do that. And Miami knows the Bills. And look, they're better than their record. what are they, 1-7 now? They've found ways to lose games. So that's why I'm trying not to overreact to what happened in the game. But longer term, I'm concerned about the offensive line. I'm concerned about watching this offense this year and just not seeing what we saw last year. And you could chalk some of it up to being on the road with fans, makes things a little differently. Well, yesterday you're at home against the Dolphins on Sunday. And, you know, again, go back to last year. Man, it was 350, 3 touchdowns, guys running open. That's what last year was. It's been different this year. They still make plays. Allen still scores touchdowns, and they make plays. But the defense needed to step up. And we've talked about this complementary football thing a lot. The reason it didn't work in Nashville was because the defense didn't play well, especially in that second half, and the offense couldn't come through at the end. Sunday, the defense was really good. They got after Tua, gave up the one long touchdown drive on that 4th down play. But afterward, Micah Hyde was asked about, on a day like this, when the offense isn't there, what do you think?
We know what type of offense we have. So, a game like that, obviously that's not them, and they know that. We all know that. There's going to be games that they have to pick us up, and we're a complete football team. So when that happens, obviously we're talking, but it's all motivating each other.
Well, they certainly do that. It's a team thing. We know it is. And the defense came up big. The Poyer interception, he's been really good. Best safety combo in the league. I'm tired of saying it. They both should be in the Pro Bowl. Again, who cares about the Pro Bowl? I think the players do. And I think that's the good recognition. So we know how good those guys are. The secondary, Levi and Trey White, outstanding job. Jalen Waddle's a heck of a player, and they blanketed him yesterday. I don't know how many targets he exactly had. It had to be double digits. And what was he, 4 catches for 30 yards or whatever it ended up being. So they did a good job there. Again, they gave up. Gesicki gets free for the big play on 4th down. That was big, led to the touchdown, made it a game. But all in all, the D was good. And you know who showed up yesterday. I keep saying yesterday, depending on when you're watching this on Sunday. Ed Oliver showed up big. He showed up big. He lived in that backfield. So that was very big for him. And by the way, I love Jerry Hughes. Jerry, don't start celebrating until somebody's got the ball. I think he had a chance to recover that one fumble, and he started to sort of celebrate for the team, and the Bills didn't get it back. But Ed Oliver was really good. Again, the bigger term issues with this team, inability to run the ball, issues on the offensive line. They're shuffling people around. Spencer Brown will be back, but it just didn't look great to me. It didn't look it. And do they miss Dawson Knox? Sure, but we're not going to go there. I mean, they have plenty of guys to replace him. Gabe Davis with a big play. I love the Diggs touchdown, love the celebration, all those things. One thing I do want to say about Gabe Davis, maybe it's just me. He catches that touchdown and he immediately flips the ball and celebrates. In this crazy, over officiated league, I concern myself with somehow them saying that wasn't a catch. And I know some of you are going, come on, really? I'm telling you, in this league, he has the ball, boom, it's up in the air. Looked to me like it was about half a second. I know it was a little longer than that. Gabe, hold on to the ball a little longer, then you can throw it wherever you want. That's just my 2 cents on that. But they did make those plays in the second half, and they won. And again, schedule-wise, they should be awake a little bit now. I don't think the Jaguars are any good, but you got to go there. You go on the road, go take care of business, and then we'll see what they have in the Jets. This Mike White thing, it'll be fascinating to see how he plays in the game against the Colts. Oh, Carson Wentz. But how he plays against the Colts. And then if Zach Wilson is healthy, are they ready right away to run him back out there? I'd say this. If White plays well in the game on Thursday, I would think it would be tough for them to go right away back with Zach Wilson for that Bills game. You might just wait a few games down the line till the Mike White phenomenon slows down. But again, we'll see how it goes on Thursday for the Jets against the Colts and then going forward. But come on, these are places in the schedule you got to take care of business. You do have the Jags, you do have the Jets, you're home against the Colts, then that Thanksgiving game, who knows what happens with New Orleans. But a lot of good things. I'm not going to overreact to the bad. There's things we're concerned about. You know, the good teams have a guy like Josh Allen who bails them out. The good teams have coaches like Leslie Frazier and Brian Dable. And I know a lot of you were frustrated with play calling. I'm telling you, they were trying to find something to make it work, and they made it work in the second half. There are a lot of things to still be pretty happy about. And Isaiah McKenzie's got to catch that punt. I'm very fortunate that was ruled momentum, muffed kick into the end zone. Good hustle by Kumaro there, but you can't make mistakes like that. And the ugly, my one thing for the ugly, I don't want OJ Simpson at the game. I don't want him in the stands. I don't want people making a positive spectacle out of the guy. Okay. He is not legally convicted as a murderer, but he was held financially responsible for the death of two people, you know, in a civil case. He's OJ. It bothers me that he's still associated with the franchise. I used to see him all the time, not when he played. I'm not that old, but I used to see him all the time when he was at NBC, when the Bills were back in the Super Bowl. He was OJ. He was the juice. He was that guy. It was great to have him part of the franchise. A lot's changed since then. And so he's there talking about his Buffalo Bills and just like he latches on to everything. They can't keep him out of the stadium. I just wish he wasn't there. I don't think they need that connection with him, but maybe it was a one-time thing. Who knows? We'll be down in Florida a couple of times in the next few weeks, Jacksonville, and then in Tampa in December. So again, in my good, bad, and ugly, OJ being at the game is the ugly. Some of you may feel differently. I would just tell you you're wrong. I don't usually just say flat out you're wrong. You're wrong. They don't need OJ Simpson around. Anyhow, enough of me pontificating. It is what I kind of enjoy doing, and I like talking about this. Hey, later this week, we're going to have Chris Porter, who's a reporter in Jacksonville, been covering the Jags for a while. I know a lot of you enjoy our videos where we say what they're saying in the other city. The Jacksonville situation, kind of fascinating where they are during this time where, you know, they look like they're on their way, you know, they go get the big college coach. They look like they're on their way to another #1 pick or somewhere close to it. And, you know, where they were just a few years ago, a few good series away from being in the Super Bowl. And now look at them again. They're the worst team. They've only won one of their last, I think, 22 games. And that's who the Bills. So just an idea of what we're going to see when the Bills go down to Duval to play coming up on Sunday. We've got great content on here, interviews. Dan and Jenna have their take from the game on Sunday. Make sure you check that out and make sure you stay with us all the time here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time here on Buffalo Plus.